Hello people that in the house are doing. I believe the two leaks the article I'm talking about here. As you probably have heard, the door fell off an Army Air Corps helicopter. And straight away OT's spinning this every way. And they're saying there's an act of God, this, that and the other. But in fact, and OT didn't report on this fact, and I talked about it in April. And I know about this because there's so many, I know 3 or 4 people who left the Air Corps because of paying conditions. Because they were working long hours, they were forced to work long hours. And working on army helicopters and getting things ready, fuel and everything ready for the air corps and everything like that, and getting nothing for it. More or less tuppence, 50 cents maybe, if they're lucky. Now, Leo Franco, I was talking about this today. This is just goes to show you, it's not the army engineers and everything that's to blame here. It's the government, because the government cut, and I mean, didn't give them a living wage, and that's why there's less army engineers and things like that. And I show you this because I have proof, and there's an article even on this, and I have proof on this. And OT's spinning this saying it's an act of God. Look, here's the article here, and this was by the Irish Times, and this is in April. The soldiers of Army Air Corps crews and technicians too. So as it goes on to say, lack of them, the lack of trained ones we have. It says it's critical. There's not many at all. There's lack of them, and there's lack of technical crew. And them the crews are to maintain the aircrafts and everything like that. This is what the public are missing. The public are missing the bigger picture here. There's a bigger picture. OT might whinge and quip and cry, saying, "Oh, it's an act of God. It's going to happen. This, that, and But they didn't. I was hoping OT would come out and say, you know what, and take the side of the army. But they didn't. I knew OT wouldn't. They spin it everywhere. Saying that the door fell off, or they didn't know, and it's an act of God, and this, that, and and the quack, this quack, and that other quack. And they won't say it straight. They really won't say it straight. And for years, the OT's been looking the other way about the army and hasn't said boo to the government about it. And that's from April. God forbid, and I say this to Leo Franco and Michael Days, I was talking today about it, and this proves my point. It's not the soldiers' fault, it's the hierarchy in the defence force, not in the defence force, but in the Department of Defence, and it's the president's fault. Because why are you giving these men 50 cents? You might as well give them 50 cents because the pay they're getting and the conditions and the hours they have to put in, it's not worth killing yourself over. And simple as that, not worth killing yourself over. Because I know people who worked in the Air Corps, as I said, 3 people. And they said about the hours that they worked, how they were forced to work extra hours for no pay. No pay at all. Just extra hours, no pay. Not much respect there, is there, for that? And not much respect there from the hierarchy, is there? And OT never spin that, and OT spin it and spin it and spin it, and more or less say, oh, the Defence Forces is fine. That's more or less, I can imagine the OT say that tonight, everything's fine in the Defence Forces, everything's wet and wendy. But I'm not taking offence, and now before I say anything else, and to the Air Corps, I have huge respect for them. I'm not blaming any of the mechanics or anything like that, I'm blaming the government, because this is why. There's only probably at most, there's probably only about technicians and pilots in the Air Corps, say there's about 70, maybe 80, or possibly. And that's probably down from 100 and something or something like that. There's a lack of them. Because I know for a fact, because this came up actually 3 months ago, that couldn't fly these helicopters, emergency helicopters for situation, because they didn't have the pilots. They were lacking pilots for a while. So do I prove my point? And a few of them had to be grounded for a while because they didn't have the crew to man them and they didn't have the crew to maintain them. So does people see what I'm talking about? And people are saying on the internet that it's the army's fault. I'm blaming the army. I'm not blaming them. I'm not blaming them at all. I'm blaming the hierarchy in Dublin. I'm blaming the bloody Department of Defence's officers in Dublin where they're sitting on the big fat asses on huge wages and they don't give a damn about the troops. And about the people, God forbid, a poor person could have been in an accident and that door could have fell off and they could have fell out. Or even a soldier at the back could have fell out. It's the bigger picture. It's the bigger picture here. That's the thing I'm taking about OT, because they never mention it. They never said there's a shortage of crew, there's a shortage of pilots. Everything's, they're more or less saying it was just a mistake and, it was an act of God and this, that, and the OT just has to get its facts straight. Because, that article there proves why. Now, I leave the 2 articles in the description. You can make your own mind up, but can people not see this? If you give army technicians and army pilots, not much, not a living wage, more or less you might just give them the minimum wage at this stage, because that's how badges are treating them, the government. Can you not see eventually they're going to get fed up and doing long hours and getting paid for nothing? They're going to leave the airco. And that's the bigger picture here, because they're working long hours, and there's only a few of them. God forbid, God help them, but there's only a few of them, and they're not magicians. They can't do everything themselves. I blame Michael E. Higgins. I blame Michael E. Higgins for this. I blame the Department of Defence. It's not the helicopters or anything like that. It's just they don't have the men. They don't have the men to maintain them. Simple as that. Anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know what you're thinking. Again, to the army, I'm not casting any upset with the army or anything like the airco or anything like that. Huge respect for them. They have no fault in this. The only men and women of the army have no fault in this. It's the hierarchy. It's the heads of the Department of Defence. They're the ones who are the problem. And that's the ones I'm taking the problem out with.